Alright, welcome back to the Steampunked Out Nemesis Gear channel for another wand turning video. We're going to do another fancy wand today. This is Purple Heart and Jotoba, or Brazilian Cherry. Purple Heart's been really hard to get lately, and so all I have is a few little scraps left, and so I've been using those in some multi-wood wands like this one. This one I have decided to make the handle out of Purple Heart. And I've got it mostly in the round, and I'm checking my size here. Again, that's I'm setting my calipers to be the size of a fine point Sharpie marker so that I can get my wand blade down to the right size. And now that I have this mostly in the round, I'm just bringing the blade of the wand down to fit that same size. And I like the Jotoba wood. It's a really pretty wood. It's one of the harder woods to work with, and it does get a lot of chatter. But it's also pretty much the same as Purple Heart in hardness, and so going between the two when I do a multi wood like this is a little bit easier because you don't have that transition from a harder wood to a softer wood. So we'll get this shaft started here, the blade of the wand, and we got that about the right size. So we're going to take off the top on this, and then we're going to put this into the chuck jaws, and that again helps me minimize the chatter that I get when that wand is flexing in the lathe itself. When you get a very long skinny piece of wood, it's going to flex and cause chatter. So especially with these hardwoods, they really bounce all over the place. So the wand chuck or the lathe chuck really helps alleviate some of that problem. So, and we'll skip through a bunch of this again. There was quite a bit of video that I edited through this, and a lot of these are pretty much the same as far as process goes. I do the blade of the wand, get everything worked down as short as I can so that I have the smallest amount available sticking out of the lathe. And then once I have that, I'll finalize and make sure it's good and centered and round, and then I'll mark out my handle. Now this one, of course, part of that handle is pre-designated because I've decided where I wanted to switch woods. So I'll get a little tenon on the end there where I'm going to break that in, and then we'll start shaping the wand. And on this, I did decide to do some more fancy design work on this, and I wanted to make use of both the ebonizing technique that I've been using lately, as well as the wood burner. And so as this progressed, I thought, oh, this this nice purple is going to have a really nice contrast if I mix in the black with that. So I'm going to shape the handle up here, and then I'll ebonize parts of it, and then I'll use the Dremel tool on some of the ebonized area, so that will have an effect of a black wood with the purple lines showing through where I've dremeled it back out. And then I will also use the wood burner to do a similar pattern on the handle, and that is going to be a black on purple background. So, and then of course, as I get this finished up, that purple's going to darken up really nicely. So, but yeah, just shaping the handle and the grip there, and then working on that transition between the grip and the blade. And this is where I decided that I wanted to leave that nice kind of a smooth flat purple field right there at the top. That's where I'm going to do my ebonizing, and then we'll get that wand blade kind of nice transition there. So I found the ebonizing solution actually works pretty well on this Jotoba too. And you'll see that there, right there at the pommel, where it goes from the two different woods connect. I don't like to make it too narrow there because the glue joints are pretty darn strong, but if you get it too small, then I do worry about uh, that snapping. So if there's not a tenon inside there, if it's just a butt joint end grain to end grain, then I try to leave some width to it. So, and this does hold up really good. As you can see, I'm putting some good pressure on it there with the friction burner, and nothing came apart. So that makes me happy. So, and of course, I do a bunch of sanding in this, and I've edited out most of the sanding because it's really repetitive. So you can get an idea just from this part right here. I sand a lot. So, and then again, now this is kind of a dual purpose. I'm kind of wiping this down and getting this ready, but it's also that cotton fabric does kind of do a nice pre-burnish on there. So now I'm going in and putting my ebonizing solution on there, and you can see that the Purple Heart just really turns dark very quickly, very very much like walnut does. The Jotoba, it also turns pretty dark, but it takes a little bit longer, and it's a little bit lighter wood to start with. So you can see the difference there starting out. So I did one of the things. I don't know if you noticed, the purple got a little bit darker here in between the last frame, and one of the things you can do with that is to heat lightly. If the Purple Heart that you have is kind of getting faded looking, you can heat that. And I just use a torch and just hit it really lightly so it heats up, and that brings that purple back out. So you get a nice deep dark purple. And now that I dried off the ebonizing solution and gave it some time to work and oxidized really well, and then came in and did some burnishing on that. And you can see there how nice and dark that's gotten. So I'm going to go in and cut out a couple of small little definition lines in here, and you can see that purple kind of pop right out of that black ebonized area. That purple just really kind of pops through there. So, and I was really happy with that. So I'm doing a little bit of sanding just to kind of smooth out those rough gouge lines there. And then once that's done, we'll cut the tenon off the end here, off the pommel. And this one did have a little bit of a wobble. That's one of the things when you heat the wood up like I did with the torch, it does tend to warp it just a smidgen, and you can see just a little bit of a wobble on this one. Not too bad though. But that's always a danger when you're using heat on the wood. So, and this is a Dremel tool. I'm just using a really small burr, and I'm going in and putting this crackly, sort of a lightning-esque cracking effect in the black area with the Dremel, and then that brings that purple. So I've got this kind of a purple crackle going on at the top there, and then we'll clean that all out. A quick sand and buff, and so that those lines look all nice, and to clean those out. And then we're going to go into the wood burning. And so now on the first part I did kind of a purple crackle on black, and now I'm doing a black crackle on purple. So I'm using the wood burning tool to put in that sort of lightning crackle effect going up the handle. And this is Purple Heart it does have an oiliness to it. It's got a lot of oil or something in it. So when I wood burn it, I don't know if you can kind of see it every now and then right around those black lines. There's kind of a little shine, and that's just where the heat is bringing the oil out of the wood. It brings it to the surface, and you can really see how much oil is on there. So you have to clean off that tip quite a bit. So, but yeah, I was really happy with that, how that design worked out. So I'm just kind of going in and putting some little finishing touches there, and then we'll scrub that out with the bristles, the brass bristle brush there, get all the loose char out of it, and then again, just lots and lots of sanding. So then we'll kind of polish this up here, a little bit of burnish, and then I'll take that and go finish off You can kind of see there's a taper on there. I did that on the sanding belt. The belt sander is just a quick, taper. Um, and then I sand it smooth, and now we're putting our oil finish on there. This is just a boiled linseed oil. It's going to penetrate and kind of polish up, and you let it dry overnight. It takes a while for the oil to cure. Uh, we'll get the ends there, and then once that's dried out, then next day, at least today, usually more, we come in and we'll put our final wax finish on here. So this is just a wood wax, and that oil and wax finish just really preserves that wood grain. And you'll see with the final pictures here, Jotoba just really has a nice grain to it, just a really pretty wood. Purple Heart is really nice as well. It's just a little bit dark, so you don't see it quite as well in the pictures. Up close, it's got a much nicer finish. So yeah, so we're just kind of doing the final polish on this. I'll get it to the buffer, and now you can see what it's looking like there. It's got a nice shine to it. It's got some nice contrasting colors. I was real happy with the shape and design of this. The wood burning and dremeling came out nice. The ebonizing with the black areas there turned out really nice, and the transitions and everything. This is one of my more favorite ones I've done lately anyways. So, but I hope you enjoyed it. Here's some close-up pictures there right at the end. Make sure if you enjoyed watching me make this to give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and make sure to check back for more. We've got several new ones on the lathe and in process, so we'll try to get some more videos up for you soon. Thanks for watching.